Co-star roles, what are they? How to book them? Tips and tricks, let's get into it. Hey y'all, my name is Chris Bey. I'm an actor, singer, dancer from Los Angeles, California who works professionally in TV, film, commercials, and musical theater. I've had the privilege of working on some networks like Netflix, Disney Channel, Hulu, HBO, Apple, CBS, and more. I'm giving you tips and tricks that I've learned in my career to help make your life a little easier. It's your dream. Enjoy it. I actually got my start doing co-stars. I've had the privilege of doing co-stars for All Rise, which was on HBO. I've done co-stars for Home Economics on Hulu. I've done co-stars for Running Point on Netflix. There's like two more, but I can't remember it. I think one of them I'm not allowed to say yet. A co-star role is usually a character on a TV series that has one or a few lines. They're usually just in one scene, helping move the story along. In film, it's usually known as a day player. Co-stars are usually not credited as a named character. It'll usually be barista, nurse, guy on a bus, employee number 3, man at table, something like that. So usually you have 1 or 2, maybe 3 lines in a scene, which means that when you get these sides, you get usually very little information. My advice to you when you get a co-star audition is to first look at it, see what the show is, check out the tone of the show, right? Everyone's always like, I don't know what to do with this. It's one line. I don't understand. There's no character description. It just says male in his 20s, stubborn. Sure, we can play that a million different ways. But I think look for details in the sides, right? Is there anything above your sides? Because it says start and end here. Don't only look at what is your scene. Look up. What happened right before this? What are we coming out of? What happens after this? Does it tell you anything about where you are? Are you in a school? The 2 lead characters just got out of an argument. Are you the one breaking the ice? What is the tone that we're trying to move into? What is the purpose of your line? Because it was written for a reason. The writers put it there for a reason. So what is your purpose? So look through the script for any context clues that you can, run with. Also, I would say look up the show. If it's a show that's already out, look it up. What is the tone of the show, right? Because if I'm doing a co-star on Euphoria versus a co-star on Modern Family, the tone is very different. The beats are going to be very different. The delivery is going to be very different. Is it very grounded in reality? Are we in a fantasy? Am I reading a co-star for a sci-fi thriller TV show in space? Or am I reading a co-star for a barista in Abbott Elementary? What is the vibe? And try to bring that and understand that when you're approaching your self-tape, because you don't want to just say your line and completely miss the tone of what you're going for. Now, after you do that, you've done your research, you understand, you're like, okay, how do I want to play it? I think if you have 1 line, if you have 1 to 2 lines, it's a very short scene, especially for co-stars. Obviously consult with your reps, but I almost always do this for a co-star. I always give 2 options. And if it is a very short line, if it is 1 little line, I always do it more than once, because you usually can do a lot with a little. If my line is, hi, welcome to Olive Garden, what can I get you today? If I don't know much about my character other than young teenager waiter walks over, whatever. So I can walk over, hi, welcome to Olive Garden, what can I get you today? The camera might not even be on me for that line, but it also can be, hi, welcome to Olive Garden, what can I get you today? You know what I mean? And either of those is fun. And I think giving the option, it shows, 1, I can give you multiple things. I'm directable. You can give me a note on set and say, can you do it a little lighter? Can you do it a little bit more edgy? Can you give me more angst? Whatever, you know what I mean? You can give options. I've also done one where I'll give an alternate take where it'll say the characters continue to trail off speaking. So I'll continue to speak through my line or mumble because they might need you to keep going or they might need more. And it's just an opportunity to show casting a little bit more about yourself. If you're funny, play into your strengths. If you don't know, if you ever get, even if it's not a co-star, if you ever get an audition and you're like, I don't know what to do with this. If you've read the script, you've looked up the show, maybe it's a new show, maybe it's a pilot. If you've looked up everything and you don't know how to play this character at all, but you really are obsessed with the director and the casting director and you love the producers on it and you need to be seen by this team, just make a choice, right? Just make a choice and do what you do best. Play the character, obviously, but if you know that you can take the scene to a really funny place with the lines written on the page versus like everyone might read it like this, do something to really flex in front of this team. You have casting's attention. Take advantage of that. Use that, So I always usually give 2 takes, especially if the scene is really short, and just have fun with it. Just play in one of them because it just shows something different. I have to tell you, most actors are going to look at a script and they are going to follow the same instincts, and they're going to get to the same location, and they're going to read the line the same way. For a co-star audition where they're looking at 500 self-tapes of one person saying one line, if you can separate yourself a little bit and say the line a little bit differently or bring something different to it, you stand out. Which, I don't think co-stars usually have callbacks. I've only booked them from a self-tape right away just because, again, it's one line, But it makes you stand out. You grab their attention, and it's something interesting worth bringing into the environment of this show. It's a co-star worth having. It's someone they want to have on set to work with. But the problem a lot of actors run into is, how do I play this part when I have zero context and my line is literally just, order for Kyle? How do I feel about Kyle? Who am I in this small town? What do I bring to this story? Am I upset about my day at work? Am I order for Kyle? Or am I order for Kyle? Do I love my job? There's so many different ways you can take it. I don't want to say that it's not about you, because I think that's a sticky thing to get into as an actor. Is I think often, I've been told, or I've heard, I've even said it myself when I first started out, as a co-star actor, the scene is not about you. So say your line, keep it moving, and book the job, which in a way that is correct. Do not make a meal out of one line and draw too much attention, because that can keep you from booking a co-star, in my opinion. I think if the line is order for Kyle and I'm order for Kyle, it tells a story, and there's too much there. You can't, because then we're like, what's his story? What's going on there? Bring the camera back around to barista number 1. But I think to say that your part doesn't matter or the story's not about you is hard, because then as the actor, when you get to set, you're like, it's just a co-star. I don't want to make waves, or I don't like my hair, or my costume doesn't fit, or I'm very uncomfortable doing something, or blah, blah, blah. You matter. If the camera is on you, you have a line, even if you're background, you are on a set and you are working, you are clocked in, and that is a job. So don't ever get in the mindset of like, my part is really small, so I don't matter, so I just want to get in and get out. The writers wrote this into the script. You are not there by accident. The first co-star that I booked was on a show called All Rise. I had one line that I repeated twice. That's how I became SAG. I did my first co-star, and I was SAG eligible. And a few months later, I got an audition for another co-star, which made me a must join. I think my agent messaged me and she was like, hey babe, she was like, congratulations, they want to book you, but you need to join SAG like today. So I literally went to the little SAG website and signed up for that payment plan, because at the time I was like, I can't afford to just drop all this money on my union membership right now. So I did the payment plan, paid it off as I went, and was lucky enough to book more jobs, which then it ended up paying for itself. So co-stars usually, like I said earlier, are not named roles, like a title screen or a credit screen. You usually are sharing it with other guest stars or co-stars from that day. I've heard that you can ask your reps to negotiate for a named role. I've never done it, just because I'm just like, sure, I'll play this role. But it is something you have to do before signing on for the role. I know that. I know that you cannot go in for a co-star, sign it, do the whole day on set, go home and be like, oh, I felt like my character was bigger than I thought. Can I be billed as a named role? I don't really think it works that way. Also, I have friends who have had one-line co-stars on shows, and this is again where I come back to not selling yourself short. They've had one-line co-stars on roles where they've gone in, said their line, and then 2 weeks later they loved it and they want to write this person into another scene. And then boom, 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 you're now reoccurring. You never know. I did a co-star on a show, and they were like, it's a co-star this time around, but they were like, there is room for this character to become reoccurring. So it was a named character, just because I might have the potential of being featured in future episodes, so you never know what's gonna happen. So that's why I always say, don't sell yourself short. Don't ever say it's just a co-star. You never know what can come from this. As far as submitting your co-stars, I think a lot of people are like, oh, I have to get my audition in right away, because if I get it in right away, it means you'll see my tape right away, which means you might offer me a callback, you might book me right away. Some people are like, oh, I really want to take time with it and get it right, and then they get it in at the 1 minute mark before the deadline. I think with co-stars, my advice is get it in sooner rather than later, just because it is so short. People are going to bang them out quickly. I think just get it in. Just get it in. Obviously, don't submit a performance you're not proud of. They usually book with a very quick turnaround. If I audition on a Wednesday or a Thursday, I'm usually shooting by next Tuesday. So I think get your co-stars in sooner rather than later, and understand that yes, it is a co-star, but it is not just a co-star. You are on set, you are an actor, you are working in this industry. Give yourself that credit. Do not diminish the booking of a co-star because it is just a co-star. I used to do the same thing, and I'm lucky enough to be surrounded by people who love and care about me to be like, stop that. You're on TV. You're on TV. Stop it. So have fun. Don't abuse yourself. Again, this is your dream. Enjoy it. Go out there and book that job. Bye, y'all.